Happy Star Wars Day, happy May the 4th to all my fellow Star Wars fans. As most of you guys know, I recently became a dad, and she's laying right next to me in my boppy as I speak. She's asleep, hopefully she stays that way. As of today, my daughter is 2 weeks and 2 days old. It's a huge life change, for the good, obviously. Things have been amazing, exhausting, and frustrating at times. With that being said, the channel is kind of in an adjustment period, a learning period. A period where I'm trying to find the sweet spot between YouTube work, baby stuff, sleep, and all that jazz. So this video is just going to be one episode of the Clone Wars in the Mandalore arc that I was watching. Whenever I make a Clone Wars video that talks about like 3 episodes, that video, it might surprise some of you guys, but that video will take me about 10 to 12 hours to make. I can't do that anymore. So to alleviate some stress and try not to fall behind, I'll be doing 1 episode per video for a little while until I figure out a schedule that works best for me. So I appreciate you guys being patient. On with the show. Continuing on with the Clone Wars and the Ahsoka learns political unrest on Mandalore arc, I hopped on over to the next episode. Season 3, Episode 10, Heroes on Both Sides. The Senate is divided, the war funds are running dry, senators are talking about more troops, deregulation, dragging the war out longer and longer, money and war and money. There's a push to stop the war effort, but the Trade Federation doesn't want that to happen, they're profiting too much, so they propose an attack on Coruscant, which they think will push more funding into the war effort, money, money, money. The Clone Wars, exploring the military-industrial complex. I'm always a fan of when real-world points seep into the show. That's only a natural thing, right? We're influenced by the real world, art is influenced by the real world, and often the real world is influenced by art. It can serve as a moral of the story or an educational platform to present ideas that might stick. If a kid can see the parallels between the show and the real world, hey, people are profiting off of war, just like the Trade Federation. Anyway, Ahsoka is kind of confused. The Senate didn't even talk about the war, they talked about banking regulations, and Anakin tells her that war is complicated. While this episode might seem a bit slow and boring on the exterior, the meat of the message is great. Padme meets up with one of her old friends who joined the Separatists back in the day. She's pleasant, as is her son. Ahsoka gets along with them both. They empathize with one another. They have no desire to fight against one another. The dynamic is interesting. These are regular people, not warriors, not great military leaders, lawmakers at best, but they are both being manipulated. Both sides of the war are being manipulated. Puppet masters stirring the pot where there previously hadn't been any tension. This episode shows that there's a big gray area, something that we as an audience have always known, but something we see Ahsoka learning. I like this episode a lot. You know what's funny to me? People complain about the very vague politicization of modern Star Wars, and at the same time, fail to complain about the overt, on-the-nose political messaging of the Clone Wars, the prequels, and everything else. It's selective outrage. It's really interesting. Anyway, in the episode you have people thirsty for power, and you have people thirsty for profit, feeding the war machine, filling their pockets, and cementing their power. Puppet masters, puppets, and bystanders. The vote is about to be cast to end the war, but a secret attack takes place, led by General Grievous, who actually deploys some droids that are disguised as like sanitation sweeper droids, but they're actually bombs. They sneak in and detonate themselves. This event changes the Senate's stance. The deregulation of the banks goes into effect, peace is no longer an option, and Palpatine can justify his actions even further. This is a perfect setup for the next 2 episodes, I think, and I'm excited to see where they lead. As always, thanks for watching, have a fantastic May the 4th. HelloGreedo, out.